Welcome to the Undrafted Uncensored cast of pod. Hosted by Nick Archuleta. Mosted by Colin Zanger. And last but certainly is least, Joseph Goodwin.
Welcome, everyone, to Undrafted Uncensored, where we got a lot going on today because guess what? This is the best time of year. It's October, which is baseball, football, hockey, and basketball.
I feel like this should be some Captain Planet thing. All sports unite and create the ultimate sports watching moment.
Heart!
Baseball! Oh, no? Oh.
I just missed the heart guy. Did you guys ever see the Funny or Die sketch with Don Cheadle as Captain Planet?
Of course.
Just turning everyone into trees and murdering them. They had Pedro from Napoleon Dynamite as the guy. Heart!
I've probably seen it, but to be fair, that was probably in my time that I don't remember a lot of stuff happening. So I'll have to put that on the list of things to probably rewatch because it definitely sounds like something that I have seen, but I don't have a clue.
Yeah, no, this was like 2013, 14, yeah.
Yeah, don't worry. Your algorithm's going to get all messed up now because we're going to talk about Captain Planet. And, oh, no, wait, no, we're not.
He's a hero. He's
and
going to
cut
cut pollution down to zero.
Yeah. And
Did
Don
you know
Cheadle
that
being kicked out of the MCU.
Don Cheadle's brother, whose name is Colin, with one L, worked for me. Look just like each other. He was in,
Really?
he was in Hoop Dreams also. He was his like whatever. He was a secondary actor.
You know, Cheadle's from Denver, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, I know he's from Denver.
Okay,
Yeah.
just making sure.
Yeah, he's an extra in the movie Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead with Andy Garcia and Christopher Walken. There's a really cool shot of Union Station, and then I'm sure the movie is definitely not actually shot in Denver. It's kind of funny seeing like the pool bar, and in the background is 1,000% Don Cheadle. He's got like 2 lines.
Also, for those of you that didn't know, Liam Neeson has been in Star Wars.
Hi, Josh Dover.
Sorry, Dover. I love you. Tell Miles thanks for at least offering to let me come spot for you today. It'll probably be the last time now.
Breaking news.
Yeah. You're out of the tribe.
Much love, Dover.
Tribe roll call.
Speaking of Star Wars, it's spooky season, which, for whatever weird reason, is also winning season for Sean Payton. He loves the month of October, and he likes to win in October. Excuse me.
I like to win in all of the months.
I do too, but let's focus on winning in September for now because the Broncos have a tough task in front of them as they are in Philadelphia right now. Not looking for cream cheese, but they are looking for a win and hopefully not have to run up the stairs that Rocky ran up.
I mean, if you run up the stairs, does that mean you're a champion, right? So hopefully they do.
Well, hopefully the Phillies thought about that this weekend.
Well, who knew that DJ Khaled and Sean Payton were, brothers from different mothers at this point, at least in October.
Yes.
The worry that I have going into this game is that, yes, Sean Payton has a great October record, but the Broncos do not have a good record against teams that actually win games against other teams who have winning records. The Broncos have an issue about beating the teams or overcoming adversity and getting the upset. Let's be honest. They haven't beaten a team with a better record or winning record that has played all of their starters. You can say the Chiefs at the end of last year, but we all know who was playing in that game. But this team has not beaten playoff teams since, I don't remember their last team that they beat that was a playoff team? I think
Tampa.
Was it 2 years ago then? Tampa?
No, it was last year.
No, it was last year.
Well, last year, but that was without their starters too, wasn't it?
No, they still
No?
had. It was like
They have
They were
everybody?
missing like 2 guys.
they were
Okay.
missing. Yeah, like Vita Vea is very good for sure. But yeah, no, they were definitely shorthanded, but not like missing a whole bunch of people or anything. But that's it. You've got one example, like that you're 1 and however many against teams with winning records. I think just in general, straight up winning records, because you beat up on the NFC South last year, and a lot of the like the Bengals beat you in overtime. So I think Tampa might have been the last playoff team the Broncos have actually beaten. So they really need to buck that trend and get with the Sean Payton winning. Get with the program, Broncos.
Well, and the plus side too, and I know one of you two is going to jump on me for this anyway. The Eagles' offense, actually, the Eagles haven't been that stellar defending Super Bowl champion so far this year. Total offensive yards of 1,006, 454 rushing yards, 609 passing, 101 first downs, 23 55 on third down. They've allowed 9 sacks too. And Hurts only has 609 passing yards. Obviously, the Broncos are still trying to find their way off the mat too offensively. They had a nice little practice game Monday night against the Bengals where they were allowed to actually figure out how to balance an offense and run and pass the ball at the same time. Let's try catching it once in a while. I'm not going to mention any names. Troy Franklin. But
Hey, Troy Franklin's had a pretty good start to the season.
hey, he's been memorable. That's for sure.
You know what?
We all remember his name.
We're not gonna forget. And he's a work in progress for sure. Like, it would have been great if he had caught just one of the deep balls that he has dropped, and some have been overthrown also. But yeah, that'd be really nice to have that. But you're right, he has had a really good start considering who Troy Franklin was last year.
And with 9 sacks being allowed too, go ahead, Colin.
Oh, well, I didn't know if you were ready for me to.
I think I was, but I just
on,
wanted to emphasize.
Yes, I mean, to go to your point, yes, he has. Jalen Hurts has been sacked 9 times. Their line has been definitely not what it has been in the past. But I think you're missing 2 really important things here. You're skipping over the biggest thing of them all is that they're undefeated in the red zone to this point. Like, they've scored touchdowns every time they're in the red zone. It is not a field goal kicking team. So through 4 games, yeah, their offense might not be clicking on all cylinders, but we talk about this heading into every season now, is that the first 4 games are just like your preseason games or tune-up games. Where are these Eagles going to be if and when? What is my dog? My dog found something in the corner somewhere. Sorry, more like dog, but it's a
Squirrel.
So the Eagles, they're finding their stride, and AJ Brown, we all know how talented he is. Obviously, the last few games have not been good for him, but we did see a breakout game 2 games ago when in the second half he blew up. So the Eagles being undefeated, like unstoppable in the red zone, once again, is something that should be very scary to us as Broncos fans, because as a really bend, don't break defense, it's going to be hard to not be broken in this game against a team that's so efficient in the red zone. We've seen the Broncos, you talked about a warm-up game against the Bengals. Yeah, but that was still a Monday night. You're talking about a short week, having to travel out east. And then you're also looking at traveling across the pond to play overseas. So there's a lot of things on this Broncos plate heading into this game. And while you say that the Eagles haven't really shown themselves, the Broncos have only really shown themselves good on tape against a Bengals team that is by far, without Joe Burrow, the worst team in the NFL. And in that game, they also came out of the second half. I tweeted this out. If the Broncos played like they did to start the second half of that game against the Bengals, against winning teams, they're going to lose those games. They turtled. And granted, there were lots of penalties.
There it is.
Turtle.
There were lots of penalties. A lot of weird things happened. But you can't allow that to happen against winning teams. And that's one of the reasons why this Broncos team hasn't beaten a playoff team besides the Tampa Bay Bucks in 2 seasons.
Well, and all these games have been one-score games, though, too. So Philly's not really running away with anything themselves either. Granted, their opponents have been the Cowboys, the Chiefs, the Rams, and the Bucks. The Rams was a blocked field goal. The Bucks was by 6. And, I mean, the Chiefs are still the Chiefs. They're trying to figure themselves out. The Cowboys, God knows what they are.
But the Chiefs...
I was just going to say, and you have the Broncos coming in on a short week, but Philly's also on a short week because they're playing in New Jersey against the Giants, and I know it's the Giants, but I mean, let's see what Jackson Dart brings this week. But I mean, 1 week of a flashy Jackson Dart, do you start kind of looking ahead a little bit because you have the short week on Thursday night?
No. But when you go over that schedule, that was the Chiefs after they were in Brazil to open up the season, who also lost one of their top receivers. They had to change their offense. The Chiefs were, figuring some stuff out. And I feel like same thing that I just mentioned with Eagles. It's early on in the season. Those guys, I mean, we can talk about the rest of the league, but the Chiefs, it still feels like they're going to make their run. They don't care about the regular season, a la the Golden State Warriors from a few years where they just kind of found their way to the playoffs and then started to dominate. Chiefs have done that for a while now. Now, maybe some things aren't going to go their way this year. We'll see what happens, but they're still getting a big player back in Rashee Rice in 2 weeks. So that game, I'm not saying that, the Eagles just, barely, they won this and they were playing them when they were 0-1. And they start off 0-3. Both teams are figuring it out, and they are not. They're looking at this game, not the Giants game. Yeah.
I mean,
Sirianni isn't one of those coaches who allows them to look ahead, unless if it was the Chiefs or the Bills. Like those are games they would look forward to. But we're talking about the Giants here. The Giants haven't been relevant in so many years. Sorry, Joey.
No, you're fine.
Not you, Joseph. My friend Joey.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. I was like, I don't care about the Giants. I appreciate the apology, though.
My Jersey Joe.
Apology accepted. Thanks.
Also known as Tony Danza.
Hold me closer, Tony Danza.
He looks just like him.
But no, I agree, Colin. I was going to make the same point about the Broncos being kind of a bend but don't break defense. It's going to be really hard to stay bent and not break against Saquon Barkley. And just the Eagles red zone in general, obviously the tush push, which everyone hates. Well, I guess not everyone hates, but a lot of people hate. If they didn't false start when they did it as often, I wouldn't be as against it, but that's whatever. You got to find a way to stop it. And will Vance Joseph be the first one to find a way to stop it? No, probably not. But maybe it could happen. Anything's possible, to quote Kevin Garnett. And the Eagles do kind of have a recipe for a quote-unquote trap game with all of the receiver drama. I feel like one of two things is going to happen. Either A.J. Brown is going to get fed a whole bunch of targets, and then we'll see what that turns into, or he's not going to get fed shit. They're going to keep doing things the way they've been doing it, and maybe – he gets upset, and that causes problems. I think Devontae Smith could still have a pretty good game, but he's not that kind of big body guy like T. Higgins is. But then again, Riley Moss handled T. Higgins outside of that first drive pretty well. But, oh, man, that first drive when T. Higgins got that big catch on Moss, and I'm like, God, no.
PTSD.
No, not again. Like,
I
Moss
know.
got mossed by T. Higgins. We can't have this.
Yeah.
No.
Well, the one thing I could say that I would hope for, I mean, maybe I'm going to eat my words on this, would be for Jalen Hurts to hyper-target A.J. Brown. Because if PS2 is on him a majority of the time, that's a recipe for the Broncos to win. Because those drives are going to be short, and that'll give the Broncos offense plenty of opportunities and probably a defensive score, in all honesty, because PS2 is going to cause traffic, and or trouble back there and tip balls. Those interceptions a lot of times are the ones that lead to returns for touchdowns. Because the defense is spread, or the offense that turned it over is spread out, and so it makes it more difficult for them to find whoever intercepted the ball and stop them. So if it is a hyper-targeted A.J. Brown game and PS2 is on him, I look for the Broncos. That's a way for the Broncos to win this game.
Yeah,
I don't see the Eagles doing that, but I guess anything is possible.
Yeah, stranger things have happened.
Anything is possible.
And I just don't know if that Eagles team. I don't think that this Eagles team is a team that puts one player's wants over any others. Saquon Barkley is a prime example of that last year, taking himself out when he had the chance to continue rushing at the end of the season because he's like, I don't care, let the other guys get the ball. I don't view that, and I also think that this is A.J. Brown's last year in Philly, so maybe they hyper-target him in the next game, but they're not as worried about a one-game thing with him when they're going to preach him all week that this is PS2, and this is not a guy that we're going to go up against. So, we need you to do your best to be a decoy and to draw attention to yourself, but the ball's not coming your way.
Yeah, and I can see that pissing him off. I can see that causing problems potentially. I want them to force it because we've seen them do that multiple times because A.J. Brown has had problems with Jalen Hurts. I remember he had that game where he didn't get a single target, and the very next game they targeted him a whole bunch, and he went off and had a great game.
I made some money because of that.
Exactly. And so I can see that working out in their favor against a different team, but against the Broncos, that is kind of the advantage that I want, or him being upset on the sidelines and basically taking himself out of the game. And now their top receiver is Devontae Smith, who's a very good receiver for sure. But I'm not sure A.J. Brown makes it through this season. He might be one of those trade candidate guys, the DJ Moores, what we thought Tyreek Hill was going to be. I
was just about to say hello, Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Kansas City.
I don't know if Philly would trade with the Chiefs, but man.
Probably not. But, if they needed something and Kansas City had it, I could see it happening. But no, I think Baltimore might need a guy because Zay Flowers has been good but is always inconsistent. Buffalo doesn't seem to care about a number one receiver, but oh my God, would A.J. Brown be fantastic in Buffalo?
Yeah.
So there's definitely some teams out there that would want to go for him. So I can see them trying to push up his trade stock to an extent, or just keep a guy happy that I think they do want to keep around. But I do think they're tired of his Farva. What's that place you like with all the knick-knacky shit on the walls?
Oh, you mean shenanigans?
Shenanigans. So that's kind of the that's the route I see to victory is some sort of A.J. Brown related catastrophe. And then maybe anything could happen also. A lot of crazy stuff, but that seems the most likely scenario is that A.J. Brown gets upset, and then depending on what the Eagles do about it, causes them to lose.
Speaking of victory, this isn't the victory formation, but what do you guys think A.J. Brown's yards over under are?
55.
I'm going to take the under on Nick's 55.
58.5.
Oh, damn.
So which is the highest over under in this game? Do you know who's second?
Colton Sutton?
Yep. By how much?
Oh, let's say 45.
42.
No, 57. 1 yard difference between Cortland Sutton and A.J. Brown in this game, as far as the over-unders are concerned, at the same odds. 58.5, 57.5 at minus 110. And in all actuality, the odds are better for the under on A.J. Brown in this game. They're minus 114. Or the odds are more in the favor of the under at minus 114 to minus 110. So this is one of those games that you're looking at this. The they don't expect this to be an aerial type of show. This is going to be a ground and pound, churn out the clock type of game. And that's something that the Broncos have not really proven that they can do. So in order to win this game, you're going to have Troy Franklin. You're going to have to make those catches. I know I said, hey, don't rip on him earlier, but you got to make those catches in those plays. Marvin Mims, if you get a chance to have that end around, it shouldn't go for 3-4 yards. You need it to go for 14, 24 yards. You got to make the plays. Pat Bryant, hello. I mean, great block. I mean, if you're out there blocking, cool, because you're doing a great job, but you got to make some plays. Evan Ingram's got to get involved. This is a game where where the ancillary pieces have to step up. The stars in this game, I think, are pretty much shut down by the other team's defense, at least the offensive stars in this game. So some of those other names, RJ Harvey, are you going to have a big game? I know we got his first touchdown last week, which killed me because I needed a J.K. Dobbins touchdown. But like, what other pieces are going to step up? Who else is going to do it? And, I don't know if we want to get to the picks, but I know we got to move today.
I was just getting ready to say, what are your thoughts? Who walks out before we move on?
Feels like Colin's waiting for me to go so he can take some more time to think. I want to pick the Broncos. I don't think I can. Are we picking scores too, or just, because I feel like it's going to be closer, but I just think the Eagles pull away maybe by like 10 points at the end of it. So maybe like a 34-24 type situation, 35-24, something like that.
I can really, I don't know if I see it being even that high scoring. I do think it ends up being a closer game because of the Broncos defense being able to hopefully penetrate that line and get to Jalen Hurts and stop some of those drives. But I think it's going to be a boring game with a lot of the clock running. It's going to go fast. The game's going to go fast. It'll be a slow moving game. You know what I'm saying? The clock is just going to be running because of all of the rushing attempts in this game. So I honestly think that this is something like 16-14.
Okay.
I don't think it's just a very high scoring game. I could even see it being like a 12-9, 12-10 type of game, something like that. I just think both these defenses are really good, and I think the Broncos offense hasn't really proven to me that they can put together a full game. So, yeah, I think the Eagles end up taking it. I do really want to pick the Broncos. As the week has gone along, it's like, all these things are kind of in the Broncos. No, they're not really in the Broncos' favor, especially with travel.
Yeah, they give you hope, but they're not in the Broncos' favor. It's like, oh, hey, that could work, but that's not like an advantage. That's hope. Hope is not.
It's like, the next time I hit the slot machine button, I could win $1,000.
It couldn't be a boat.
Well, it's one of those. I'm kind of with you, Colin. It's going to be, I don't know. I think it's going to be a one-score game. I was thinking more like 28-24. The Broncos defense, both defenses, I think, will end up giving their offense a short field a couple times, just enough to make it seem a little more interesting. But I don't know. I think Philly still walks out with that dub as much as I want to be a Broncos.
We all pick Philly. Choose the Broncos. Broncos are winning. I'm putting money on the Broncos right now. We all just chose Philly. Nope.
But
I thought I was going to rely on you, Nick, to save us.
I was trying to. I can't. You know who's also not reliable right now is Jay Norvell
and
the CSU Rams. I don't know what is going on in FOCO right now.
They're building a new stadium.
Losing.
Cool. So nobody can show up to that one too?
Exactly. What happened to Braden Fowler-Nicolosi? Like, I know we all used to joke about him, like, being the next Broncos starter, but like he was.
K-State wanted him. They were trying to steal him from CSU, and now I'm like, let him go.
Yeah, he should have gone. Maybe he would have played better, and CSU would still have their guy to be fine. But he was a fringe potentially draftable quarterback. If he had another good year, he'd be like a 7th round, 6th round, maybe undrafted guy, but like that's a dude that might get, like Steven Montez. Like
he is going undrafted right now.
But he's not getting drafted now. But the dude just fell off a cliff. Like you said, like what happened? Is he Thelma or Louise? Like what's going on?
He's four.
He's losing a lot of games. I don't know, as a stretch, whatever.
Yeah.
The signs were all there once that second half drop off happened against Washington and then against UNC the next week.
Yeah.
Or the next game. That once that UNC game happened and they paid off the refs or whatever it was to win that game. However they ended up winning that game, all that writing was on the wall that this team just is one of the worst in Division I college football. And the Norvell stuff, maybe his message got old or stale, but these guys, they are not playing as a team.
No.
And I was kind of thinking about this actually on the way home with, I know we'll get into baseball, but with like the Dodgers and with like teams and how players can make a difference on a team and how Shohei, you had two of the best players in the world and Shohei and Mike Trout play for the Angels and they couldn't get anything going.
Yeah.
And how baseball is kind of like the ultimate team sport because in hockey, you can have a few good players and they can kind of lead the way. In basketball, you can have, one star and he can help lead you there. Maybe not win a championship, but you can be a good team with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In football, it really, one player can help cover up a lot of things, and that's the quarterback in most cases. That will lead you. We were just talking about the Bengals. Once Joe Burrow went down, they looked like the worst team. They were, contenders before that. And the Rams just don't have a quarterback, and that quarterback is not leading that team in any way, shape, or form. And I just feel like it's all lost. And maybe the message from Norvell to Nicolosi, Fowler Nicolosi, wasn't the right one in this offseason.
Is Norvell an offensive or defensive does CSU run like a Jay Norvell offense, or does he have an OC that kind of designs everything that we can throw under the bus here?
That's more Norvell.
I was going to say, is it a Deion Sanders situation where he's not really running everything?
Exactly, yeah. Like it's sad to see, man, because there was kind of a rivalry even with CU. Like they weren't going to be able to get the talent, but they were able to compete, at least in that first year. That was a great game. And it's just been getting more and more diminishing returns, it feels like, from when Norvell first got there. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I wonder. I feel like he doesn't keep his job after this year. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he does on. Yeah, like he might not make it through the season. So I don't know, man. It's sad because it was fun for a while. Was it 2 years ago when CU, CSU, and Air Force were all pretty good? And then Air Force lost that one game and went on the losing streak, and then the clock kind of struck midnight on all three teams, really. But it's almost the most baffling with CSU because with CU we could see the writing on the wall, the stars left, the quarterback changed over. This was supposed to be the year where CSU was like, all right, it's Fowler Nicolosi's senior year. He's going to go.
The last year in the Mountain West.
Yeah, you might as well just, ball out and try to win the conference that everyone says doesn't belong in the playoffs and make it to the fucking playoffs.
Playoffs.
Be the BYU of last year. And no, all that is now out the window, just like CU season.
Well, and I think that, do you believe? I don't think that the CU Buffs believe, or the Rams, and the Buffs also don't, which we'll talk about here next. I don't think the Rams believe that they can win anything because that that UNC game was a pivotal point. They felt like they got lucky or they got saved. They needed a miracle to win that game. And so they're going into all of these other games thinking that they don't belong. They don't believe they belong on the field with these other teams, which is a completely different mindset from when they did play CU 2 years ago. That they had complete faith that they could hang with them and any of the top teams in the nation. But
and they proved they could belong.
Yeah, and the UNC game, I think, just did something to that team where they lost all faith. Maybe it was they lost faith in their coach or coaches or the quarterback, but whatever it was, they don't have it.
Yeah, it's like they picked a fight with the rest of college football, and they were there, and they were all happy because it was 3:00 at the flagpole, and they're getting ready to get punched in the face, so they're like ducking and weaving, and the next thing you know, they just got punched in the gut. They're like, oh, well, that's not fair. And then they got kicked in the nuts. And they're like, what's going on? We didn't plan for that. I was looking for a punch to the face. And now
I thought this was boxing.
Yeah. And now they're like, I don't know what's going on. I thought we had rules. And like, no, dude, it's a street fight. There are no rules. Yeah, I don't know. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, by the way. Those watching us.
The analogy went off the rails.
I kept going. I should.
The crowd just rushes the ring, and it's like when Jet Li was in that movie, and he's fighting like Chuck Liddell and stuff with Tom Arnold.
And speaking of not knowing what's going on,
yeah,
I will say I did not quite know what was going on at the end of the CU Buffs game tonight, guys, because you know what, something happened there at the end of that game that hasn't happened.
Hang on. Let's do this together. What happened, Colin?
The Buffs ended the game with no timeouts.
What?
Wow.
No.
Do you believe?
They still lost, but you know what? Prime used all of his timeouts in this game.
Finally.
So, is that progress? I don't know.
Yes. Is it good enough?
But I was sitting there and I was like, when I saw the clock, I was like, there's still like a minute left. The Buffs, if they can get the ball back, they have all their they don't have their timeouts. Prime used them. I mean, good job. You didn't get the ball back with the chance, but you gave up a fake. Was that a fake field goal for a touchdown? Is that what happened? I don't know.
I got frustrated and
They gave up a touchdown at the end. Last I saw was 28 seconds left, and TCU scored a touchdown, so it was 28-14 final. But the Buffs ended with no timeouts.
That's progress.
I mean, it's a start.
Yeah.
At least he knows he has them and how to use
them. Like actually getting the playoff in time.
You didn't get any plays with no timeouts or the ball back, but you tried. So there's a star for an effort.
Yes.
Baby steps.
I mean, dude, I don't know where to start with this team. Like, there are flashes offensively where it looks like, all right, maybe Pat Shermer's trying to make me eat my words, and then I remember it's Pat Shermer. But then you get the defense out there, and they give up 3 long touchdowns in a cover 0, and I'm like, do we have any deep coverage? Is there any idea of anything out there? I mean,
isn't our head coach
the head coach was a perennial all-star at cornerback? Wouldn't he kind of want to be like, something's missing back there?
He's probably too worried about which quarterback carousel he's going to play next game to think about that. Although, I mean, Salter had a decent first half. The Buffs were tied at half. To be fair to this team, they came in to be fair. They went into halftime tied up with TCU, a team that was favored. I want to say they were favored by double digits going into this game.
I believe you're right.
So it's the same thing as the Broncos, and they came out in the second half and they were dead. They had nothing to offer in the second half of this game. It just felt like, dead man walking. They were walking the green mile that whole damn time out there at TCU because they were just waiting for the final nail in the coffin to happen. it felt inevitable. In all honesty, watching parts of it, it was kind of like, why am I even getting my hopes up? Something is going to happen with this defense that is just going to be head scratching. And you said, there's cover 0, and then you have chances to stop them at the end, and you can't. I want to say they had them in 4th down twice on that last drive, or maybe it was the last 2 drives, and they couldn't get a stop. So, a complete game, complete team. I've said this before, but something's got to be really wrong with Juju because the future needs to start now.
Yeah, at this point, it's just throw him out there, and let's just start building around him and building that team back up because both these teams so far the start of this season has just been utterly frustrating, and I mean it's almost like the Montforts are running college football too, like they are a baseball organization.
All tricks for college football in Colorado right now.
Yeah,
it's almost like they're running an offense that doesn't fit their quarterback, with a coordinator that's kind of dumb, and they don't have a great running game despite the strength of their team being the offensive line, where a running quarterback you'd think would be a huge asset when you have a really good offensive line, especially to help cover up your defensive deficiencies with time of possession. Like this team could be built so much better. Well, they are built better. They're just not being used correctly. It's like when Jack Del Rio had the Broncos defense and he just never blitzed and never did anything. And Wade Phillips came in with pretty much the same group of guys. And they brought in Darian Stewart, I want to say, maybe one other guy, and became one of the best defenses in the history of football. I don't think the CU offense can be one of the best offenses in college football, but they can at least be better than they are. And it's not going to get better the way it's currently constructed. And so, like you said, there's got to be something really wrong with Juju or something just wrong with the entire setup, and they're afraid to ruin Juju. I don't know, but like Colin always says, I said point in the wrong direction. They're at risk of him wanting to leave. And I think they have that relationship built that they don't think he'll go, and they think they've got him locked in for another year. But man, in college football, anything can happen. Look at Nico Iamaleava. Anything is possible, to quote Kevin Garnett. So
nice
yeah,
pull, UCLA over Penn State.
Yeah, like I don't know, man. I would like to see Juju out there to just see some of those growing pains. But at the same time, if we're actually going to get the Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers, hell, even Brock Osweiler looked better after sitting for a couple of years behind Peyton Manning. I'll take that, but I'm not going to be convinced that that's going to work or that he's actually going to stay until I see it.
Here come the Buffs. You know what the Buffs are going to do? They're going to hire Mike McCoy as their offensive coordinator.
Oh, God.
Because,
Bill Buffs.
Why do you talk?
Because Prime wants NFL experience, and he helped Tebow in the NFL, right?
Why do you talk?
We're
going to move on now. Yeah, we're going to move on now. Speaking of frustrating, so I'm going to throw this out there. I know I'm the only one that gives a shit, and I don't care. I still love talking Rockies because that's what we have right now.
We love you too.
And so they're going to go for an outside. Yeah, you just probably grabbed the first hat you saw too.
No.
Yeah, but subconsciously he chose the Rockies one.
Yeah,
it's like when the little kid is choosing from.
Do you really think my hats are unboxed at my house?
You've got probably 3 of them.
The ones that I have out that are important to me.
Yeah, and you probably just happened to grab it. It probably anyway. They're looking at an outside candidate for general manager. Finally,
good.
They're not promoting from within. However, there is one candidate, and I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now. That is a former member of the Rockies organization.
Oh.
But I think having outside experience and seeing what happened in other organizations isn't going to hurt him as much because he's seen other things. And so,
like you need to have somebody from outside. And so if it happens to be someone who's been with the Rockies before and understands the dysfunctionality that's been happening forever, then cool. At least this person has experience in both ways of doing things, both in the right way and the Rockies way. And that's what we were hoping for with any outside candidate, whether it's Colin, you had a guy I thought that was like a legendary baseball guy you wanted to bring in. But like,
yeah, but it ain't happening.
No, it's not. But like that idea of someone smart that is going to come in and actually like do things and switch things up. You need someone who's going to shake it up, and it's refreshing to hear that. At first I thought you meant they were looking at one candidate from within the organization, and I was like, nope, but no, it's just someone who's been here but now works elsewhere and is actually successful, because that's important too. If he started with the Rockies and then went to some other organization and just sucked, I don't want that guy.
Well, and with what you're saying, for the candidate that was within the Rockies organization,
Levine.
Yes. How long has he been out of the organization?
I'm sorry, say that again.
How long has he been out of the organization for?
20 years.
Okay, so this was, I mean, he was here during October or around. No,
he just
right
missed
before.
it.
But that was a team that was getting young talent and developing talent at that point in time. What I think you really meant to say, Joe, was that it's someone who understands the shit show organization that is the Rockies, and so he understands the shit show that he's coming into, possibly after having been rehabbed in organizations that do know what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly. He's gone through the 12 steps.
Yes.
He's making it through.
In this case, 20 years worth of steps in different organizations.
He's put his life back together.
The thing that I sit here, and the name that I was talking about was Theo Epstein, who's never going to – Theo Epstein is already – he's got his cushy MLB job. He's rehabbed 2 organizations. He doesn't need to come to the Rockies, and he's not going to take on that task. But that would be the ideal dream. I mean, I would need to change my boxers if I heard today that Theo Epstein was the new GM of the Colorado Rockies.
Needs new shorts.
I would need some cover up, because I'd be hard for like 3 weeks hearing that. Like I don't know what, like that would be the most ideal dream candidate to be the Rockies' new GM. So the one thing that I do have, like, that is serious about this though, is the fact that they say they're looking outside the organization. When they say they're looking outside the organization, the last time they did this and they ended up hiring Schmidt within the inside, they said that they did interview other candidates. And the one reason why they didn't hire any of those other candidates was because these guys, I'm assuming they were all guys that they interviewed, all said all the things and ideas that they had were either A, things that the Rockies have already done, or ideas that Monfort didn't like. That's why they went with Schmidt, because they liked his ideas and what he said, because he's a yes man. So at the end of the day, the Rockies need to bring in somebody who has completely different ideas. And Monfort needs to let go of this idea that he knows how to run this organization successfully, because he hasn't outside of a fluky year. Yeah. That really is what it kind of boils down to, is that just because these guys are coming in with different ideas than what Monfort thinks of how this organization can be run, doesn't mean that the ideas are wrong. Will it work? I don't know. I don't know what their ideas are. I don't know if they'll make me mad or angry or happy. But all I will know is that if they try something different from what's happened the last 12 years, I'm going to give it a chance.
Well, and it'll show us too how much control Walker Monfort really has.
Yeah.
Because he's the one that's saying this is what's going to happen. He's kind of head of baseball operations now. Levine's coming to you with experience from the Texas Rangers and the Minnesota Twins. Rangers made a World Series. Minnesota Twins for a long time were perennial postseason appearance teams, but they just couldn't beat the Yankees. Andy McKay is coming to you from Seattle. Can you pull him away from Seattle, who is, they played a damn good game today against Detroit up there for the LCS. Jerry DiPoto being a former Rockies pitcher.
Yep.
He's showing a lot of success right now. Can you convince DiPoto to let that guy go? And then you got Dayton Moore, who, again, he's been with Kansas City and the Texas Rangers. Kansas City won a World Series, beat the Mets, took away the only ring David Wright was going to get. And, again, the Texas Rangers, who made a World Series and had quite a run back in 14-15.
Well, and I actually said that. So I went live after my game in Seattle where I watched the Mariners come back and beat the Rockies.
I went to bed.
I went live with their post-game celebration because they clinched the playoffs, and I said something to note of
the viewers.
Yes, to anyone watching, which I don't think was many at that point in time in the night.
But we love you.
But what I said was that the Rockies should see this and be able to learn from it, because the Mariners and the Rockies have a lot of similarities, or they can have, as far as organization-wise, they can have a lot of similarities. Not huge markets, but markets that are passionate about baseball, that have had some success, but have also fallen on hard times. And then they're a team in Seattle that show talent. Damn, Nick hates Seattle. He hates this comparison.
Yeah,
he's not muted, so I don't know. I don't know what's happening. But
stepped away. I had to grab something to drink. My throat's
you're good.
And I didn't want everyone to look at my crotch.
We appreciate that. Crap. But what I was saying was that the Rockies can learn a lot from this, because the Mariners and the Rockies have a lot of similarities. And seeing them celebrate with a team that just 2 seasons ago, made the playoffs, and then last year fell off a cliff. I mean, their pitching sucked. Their offense couldn't figure it out. Their offensive numbers in Seattle are not great. Their pitching is working, but they've brought in the right types of players to that team. And yeah, they have some young talent there that's really damn good.
J-Rod.
Yeah.
So you're saying if the Rockies players do enough squats,
it's just, like I said, you can learn from these organizations, and if you bring in some people from these organizations to help, which I know, Nick, you've been clamoring for, as have I, for someone from somewhere that at least has similar experience or different connections. Because right now, anytime Monfort makes a call, Dick, I don't know about Walker, but anytime Dick makes a call, I'm sure all the other GMs are just laughing in his face.
Oh yeah.
Because everything that he's done has backfired. I mean, whether it be from not re-signing guys. I mean, hello, not Freeland, John Gray, who goes on to win a World Series in Texas.
I think it all started with
Ryan
LeMahieu
McMahon
leaving is what the catalyst for all
Adam
of it.
Ottavino.
He left. Nolan knew we're not trying to field a team that's really going to compete because one of the best players just walked for nothing. So that was
Cardinals haven't really done a whole lot either since then.
No, they haven't, but they also lost the core of their team. And they lost their heart of that squad. And I know Nolan was supposed to be that next guy, but he's still great defensively. And people are going to point out that Nolan was Bridich. I still don't believe that. I think that Monfort was still pulling those strings. I think Bridich had a little piece, but I think he more stepped on the grenade for Monfort than anything else, because he just wanted out. Gave him enough of a reason to get out of the dysfunction. Yeah. So, I hope the Rockies go out of the organization, do a real search, bring in someone with different ideas, and Walker and Dick, Texas Rockies Rangers.
Yeah.
Let them do whatever they want. Let it be the wild, wild west.
Yes,
I hope so. I mean,
so the Levine guy, he was with the Rangers, right, Nick?
Yes.
He's the guy. Oh yeah. Okay. So the Walker Texas Rangers. Yes. These are my sons. Walker, Texas Ranger.
which actually, I wasn't. Didn't Bochy just leave that job in Texas?
Yeah, they mutually parted ways.
I love it.
What if you bring in him and then Bochy to be the coach?
I love it. Coaching.
I'm pretty sure that phone was ringing out of San Francisco, and the name read Posey on it.
It could be, yeah.
Yeah, there's no way the Rockies win any kind of bidding war for any kind of quality manager. Like, we're looking for the guy from Major League in the auto shop.
I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were saying Joe Madden was a potential candidate for manager for the Rockies, and I'm like, don't get me wrong, I love Joe. I hated him when he was in Tampa, loved him when he was in Chicago, but he's different. He's got a way of connecting with younger players, and he thinks outside the box.
Now here's a guy.
I wouldn't hate it if that was right. You know what else? Well,
it kind of gives me like Wade Phillips vibes. You know, old guy who does kind of relate to young people, who's kind of sitting around, still able to do the job, but kind of just waiting for the right opportunity. Now the question is, who the fuck thinks the Rockies are the right opportunity? But you know what? Anything is possible.
Yeah.
I'm going to mute you next time you say that.
The good thing, too, is the Avs start on Tuesday. They'll be out in LA. I'm excited. It's nice to have a full squad back. I was kind of talking this over with my family the other day. Now that the captain's back, I think there's going to be calm in that locker room now. Nate's not going to have to play captain and Nate. He just gets to be Nate now. Plus, Gabe's going to be in there to just kind of flick him on the ear a little bit and be like, stop being an asshole.
Well, I think that for both the teams at Ball Arena, honestly, a lot of the questions are kind of put to rest, or the surrounding noise. For the Avs, it was all the questions about Gabe being back and is he going to play? He's here. He's going to be playing for the team. For the Nuggets, it was all, how long is Joker going to play? Are the Nuggets going to get rid of him? What's going to happen with Joker? And then you brought back, you're basically running it back with Bruce Brown coming back and being that guy off the bench, and an improved version from KCP with Christian Brown playing in the starting lineup.
Yeah.
So you have your team and squad assembled,
and a backup big.
And the questions between both of these teams are done. So I know we'll get into these guys a lot more once the season starts, but I just think the questions for both of these teams have kind of been silenced, and these guys can go out and play now.
Yeah, I think the
off-season questions for sure have been answered. Now all that's left is to actually play the games, which is why we play the games. But, we're not sitting here going, man, if they could move on from this guy or that guy. I think the Avalanche have more question marks in terms of roster than the Nuggets do. We'll see if Val Nichushkin can stay, just available for the postseason. We'll see if Marty Necas can get a little bit grittier and tougher and not kind of crumble as much as he did, and they can kind of find that chemistry that we were sold with the trade of him being that real smart, cerebral guy. And then for the Nuggets, we're hoping that Cam Johnson is kind of that Marty Necas type guy also. We got the Bruce Brown return. I was going to say Bruce Brown in the starting lineup and just talk about Christian Brown and say the wrong name the whole time. That was going to be funny. They got Christian Brown he's not as good of a shooter as KCP, but he's a better athlete, and the extra dunker, the extra guy that can help spread the floor, and he's still efficient from three. It's going to be exciting to see what those two coaches do with these rosters now, because they're set, like you said, Colin. The questions are answered. Now it's time. Mm-hmm. It's time to put your skates on the hardwood.
Adelman's got a full year now this year too, so it's time to put your big boy pants on, get out there, and let Colin take over.
As you said, you play the game, and when you play to win the game. And that's what we do in the victory formation.
This is the victory formation.
All right, boys, here we go. Best play in football. 6 right tight diamond victory on 1. Break.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, it's jam.
The Pick'em segment proving that Colin Zanker is the most humble man in the history of time. Least. Featuring Nick Archuleta wishing he was somewhere else. And Joe Goodwin just kind of winging it.
That's right. It is the victory formation where we pick real games with fake money and keep track of it to see who makes the most throughout the year. This week, one of us went 1-3, or 3-1, and 2 of us went 1-3. Let's get into it with our picks from the other week. Well, it started off with the Saints visiting the Seahawks, a game that I went to, and I watched the Saints get beat down. Beat down by the Seahawks in a themselves. Very loud stadium. By the way, one of the coolest things I will say about that stadium, besides the Hawks Nest and all that, is that they keep track of, ever since they opened that stadium, how many false starts they've created on the opposing team. It's not just per game. They have every single one. Every time a false start happens by the opposing team's offense, they put it up on the board with how many have been caused by the 12th man. Really cool experience, Seattle. I hope to see again. But the Seattle Seahawks saw themselves to victory, and so me and Nick both picking the underdog there didn't work. Joe wins 12-67 on that. Chiefs versus the Giants. I thought it was going to be a mayhem week. I was completely wrong picking the Giants in that game, although they kind of gave a little run. But the Chiefs come out victorious. Both Nick and Joe picked that one correctly. We all decided to choose the Ravens to beat the Lions. Oof. The only underdog I didn't pick this week, as the Ravens lose at home and, lost on Monday Night Football. Yeah. That was all of us losing $10. We should have known to pick the Lions, hence why I picked the Broncos after we all picked them to lose earlier in the show. And we move on to the last game of that pick'em. It was one of the last games of the season. Red Sox, Rays, down in Tampa. Nick chose his favorite team in the world, the Boston Red Sox, who ended up losing to the Rays. So Joe and I got it right, meaning that for the week, our big winner was Joe winning 36.75, but still in third place for the year at 344. I was in second place, and I'm still in second place overall. I lost $9, but I'm at 441. Nick lost almost $17, just under $16.92, and he's at 476. Let's get into the games for this week as we start things off with a few baseball games. We're going to start with tomorrow's primetime game. That is the Tigers at the Mariners. Mariners came out victorious tonight.
That was a good game.
Who comes out victorious tomorrow? Mariners are actually underdogs. Tigers are favorite at -120. Nick, who you got?
I don't know. I gotta stick with. I gotta stick with Scooble. I think the Tigers have Scooble going, and they love playing behind him. I'm going Detroit.
Joe, who you got?
Give me the big dumper. Let's go.
Joe knows one thing about baseball, and it's a big dumper. Great. I'm kidding. Which I am sad I didn't get to see any of his home runs because I thought he was going to break 60 while I was there, but that's all right.
Did the next day, didn't he?
Well, the next day, yeah, he hit 2. But I will say that I think the Mariners have just been on a roll, and I know Scooble is a great pitcher. I don't. The Mariners are a squad that I think just has it, and they have their run in them right now. So give me the Mariners.
Okay.
Next, we move on to the one game that we already know who Nick's picking. That's why he'll go last. It's the Yankees versus Blue Jays. After the Yankees got blown out today, they look to recover as favorites also in Game 2 at -150. Road favorites. Blue Jays underdogs at +125. Joe, who you got?
I don't know. I'm going to take the Blue Jays because it's funny.
In this one, as much as I would love to take the underdog again, I am rolling with Nick and the Yankees in Game 2.
Max Fried. The Ace is starting it.
You just want to, yeah. Do you need to say the Yankees or should we move on?
Oh, we already know.
Okay. Moving on to, we got an early game in the morning. Actually, just about, what's that? It's 8 hours away from now will be kickoff. That is the Vikings taking on the Browns in another overseas matchup. Anyone who's watching on Instagram, thank you all for tuning in. If you want to see the rest of our picks, make sure to get us on Facebook or Twitter or X, whatever. We'll have the rest of the show there.
No,
Appreciate y'all and everyone who's hanging with us on. Well, Instagram's gone, so thank you, Facebook and Twitter, for hanging around with us. All right, so we move on. Vikings versus the Browns. Browns are favored at plus 160. Vikings at minus 150. Browns starting Dylan Gabriel. I think that this Vikings defense will eat him alive. So give me the Vikings at minus 150. Nick, who you got?
I guess Minnesota.
Joe?
The Vikings still starting Carson Wentz?
Yes.
I still have to take the Vikings. I want to pick against Carson Wentz because he's only ever looked good against the terrible Bengals.
I almost took the Browns.
Like, if it was Flacco, I would have taken the Browns. But I haven't seen Dylan Gabriel. And rookies sometimes have a pretty decent game. I just don't think his first game out is going to be anything to write home about. Yeah, I don't like it, and I'm picking the Vikings.
As much as I don't like it because I've got a few touchdown parlays that involve some players in this game, I also have a bet for this to be a no touchdown game.
Ooh, Collins infamous. He's going to hit it.
So I've been very close. Oh, damn Broncos. I've been very close a few times. Next, we move on to Sunday Night Football. This is the Patriots at plus 380 underdogs going to face the Bills at minus 550. A weird division rivalry game that is very, very lopsided as far as the odds go. Nick, who you got?
Buffalo.
Joe?
I mean, Drake, man, I'm kidding. It's fucking Buffalo. Right?
You know what? I am actually going to roll with the Patriots. They seem to have they have some sort of weird win in them every year. Last year was beating the Bengals in week 1 early on. I think that Drake May, as much as we want to talk a little bit of crap about him, he's actually putting together a pretty damn good season. And don't forget, Stephon Diggs' revenge game. The Buffalo secondary is not that good. So
yeah, Nick needs a big game out of Stephon Diggs.
So give me the Patriots, although it's a little bit of a long shot. Well, it's a kind of a big long shot, but in my mind, this game is closer than what the odds makers have it. So even if you're looking at this, I would take the Patriots points instead of just taking them straight up if you want to bet on this.
Yeah, take them to cover. What's the
take them to cover. So we move on to Monday Night Football for the last games of the week. That is Chiefs visiting the Jaguars. Jaguars 155 home underdogs. Chiefs minus 185 going out to Jacksonville. Joe, who you got?
Well, Trevor, I'm kidding. It's Kansas City. These are relatively lopsided. So watch all of my picks be wrong and all the upsets happen. But no, Kansas City has they've got the pedigree, they've got the Iams, they've got the Blue Chew. they're better right now. And maybe Jaguars have some kind of breakout. Maybe Travis Hunter does offense and defense and kicks ass and gets Nick a great win in fantasy. But no, I'm taking the Chiefs.
What I will say about this game is I talked about the Chiefs kind of getting things going together earlier. But the one team that surprisingly has had things going this year, I know they aren't great, but it is the Jaguars defense. They have the most takeaways in the NFL. Give me the Jaguars defense against this Chiefs offense, who they might have found a little something last week, but they do have fumble problems. We've seen that happen before. I think the Jaguars defense stands on its head at home, and that offense kind of gets going. So give me the Jaguars. Nick?
At first, I was going to say they've had a pretty weak schedule to start the season off, but they kept up with the 49ers last week, and they ended up beating them. I mean, their one loss came against the Bengals before Burrow got hurt. And so they are, I think they got a little surprise in them. I'm going to go Jacksonville over the Chiefs for a weird feeling.
Well, there we go. A weird feeling, and I have a feeling that this show is about over. So we'll just daydream those victories for the night.
There it is. Thank you everybody for tuning. Thank you everybody for tuning in today. Thank you to Michael Spillane and everybody over at e5280sports.com for hosting us. Also, thanks to Pikes Peak Sports Cards, our sponsor. And thank you everybody for tuning in. Without you, we would do this, but it wouldn't be as much fun because it would just be us arguing with each other. And even though we like arguing with each other, we like arguing with you.
I like arguing with Nick because I'm always right.
We all hate Colin, and so because I have the ability, I'm just going to mute him for a minute.
Muted on me.
I just did.
Yeah, you didn't see it?
What? What, Nick? What was that? I can't hear you, Nick.
All right, thank you, everybody, for joining the Undrafted Uncensored podcast.
Nick's still trying to talk. He doesn't realize that I have him muted.
Oh, he knows.
No, I didn't see that.
I can play this game, too.
Yeah.
Fuckers. I love y'all.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We love you. See you guys next time. Until then, Undrafted Uncensored, tune in for us, and we'll get our AI stuff out there. Don't worry. We love you.
Look,
Bye.
Guys, I'm Shedeur Sanders.